Xin Nian Kuai. Happy New Year! This is our first video, Water Tiger School's first video in 2023 that falls after the Chinese New Year. So we are now in the year of the water rabbit, or the year of the black rabbit. Some will sort of make it redundant and say the black water rabbit, but black in Chinese elemental astrology is the color of water. So you're kind of repeating yourself, like PIN number or VIN number or ATM machine. But anyway, so there you go. Laoshi Lawrence McElroy, of course, for Water Tiger School, taijiquan on our YouTube channel. Today, this video will address, after a warm-up, we're still pulling pieces from our Tai Chi Qigong breathing set, the 10-piece one that we do in a lot of different venues. And we're going to do Pour Qi Through the Baihui, which is from the stationary family of Tai Chi Qigong and the primary set in that family of Qigong. So we'll get to that in a moment with the warm-up. The main focus today will be variations on Repulse the Monkey. So that means even within the Water Tiger School lineage, we do Repulse the Monkey two ways. And the end of posture has evolved with Water Tiger over the years, so we're going to address that. And we'll talk a little bit about how other people do it. There's not a lot of different variation in that, but there is, some with what you can find out there in researching and that sort of thing. So we'll address the differences. They do it their way because it works for them. We do it our way because it works for us. So there you go. By the way, the t-shirt, it's unbelievable that this is only the second time since we started shooting video and doing the Facebook Live sessions in March of 2020. This is only the second time that I've worn this t-shirt. The first time was in April 28th in 2020, so the first couple of months as we were doing stuff, and that was a Water Tiger for West Babylon for what had been our program there before home lockdown. So anyway, so there you go. And I think that's it before the warm-up. So we're just going to get to our shoulder width. I have the tape lines here today because we're going to do a walking exercise. By the way, below me here are two YouTube links to two of our previous videos. One is in the Tai Chi and Qigong training playlist. It's a basic Tai Chi walk because we're going to make reference to that, and that was uploaded on November 4th of 2021. Then there's a second video that is backwards walking. It's Water Tiger for Sachem, February 8th, 2021, backwards walking, and that's in the Water Tiger for Sachem New. Little twisters, keep the feet planted, so nice separation between the upper body and the lower body. And since, that was for February 8th of 2021, that was the day that it was uploaded. So anyway, those two links are below. You might want to refer to those for a little bit more detail in our Tai Chi stance that we'll hit on, lightly as we do this. Got to finish my mint. Imagine that, and I think probably after I finish my mint, I'm going to have to walk close to you and get a drink. So, Pour Qi Through the Baihui. Now the Baihui, we mention often in structure and vertical alignment because it is the crown point of the head, which is not the center of the top of the skull, where a lot of people think is the crown point of the head. It's sort of toward the back third. So where your center line is goes up over the head, where that line is intersected by a line from opening of ear to opening of ear. That's basically the Baihui point. 100 convergences, 100 points. So the idea of the movement and the imagery is a gathering and then a pouring down. I've referred to this in many an animal frolic video because the closing in the animal frolics has that same kind of motion that we do for Pour Qi. So there you go. It's relatively simple. We'll do probably 9, maybe 12 repetitions. Ideally an inhalation on the rise of the arms. Basically, you have a couple of hand choices here. I address this every once in a while, not all the time when we're doing Tai Chi Qigong. It's just the normal sort of delicate lady hand, beautiful lady hand, or what's referred to as tile hand. which is the rest of the hand, kind of delicate lady hand, but you don't smash. I'm not smashing them together. Just lightly pressing the middle finger and the ring finger together and moving them slightly forward, pulling the index and the pinkies slightly back. It's sort of like Chinese tiles. So what that tends to do is it really focuses the energy in the hands into the Gong points, the temples of possibility, the work temples, lung 8 on the palms of the hands. So we're going to breathe into a palm down position. Chest sunk back, rounded throughout, so that sort of dictates, exactly how, as the arms come down, you don't want to pinch the elbows into the torso, into the lats, that sort of thing, because you'll lose your sunken chest and rounded back, and you lose your relaxation underneath the arms. Chin should stay from parallel, slight tuck down. That puts the crown point of the head, the Bach way. The 100 convergence is held, not lifted to the heavens. Remember, we're not doing this. Setting down, open knees, perineum, base of the pelvic bowl, Hu Yin, bottom of the sea, anchored toward the earth. By now, many of you can say all that without my help. Just a few breaths, not sort of normal Tai Chi breaths or yoga breaths or anything, just breathing, letting things settle. And now getting into that deeper, relaxed, long, fine, calm, and slow breath of what it is that we do. So in and out through the nose, ideally. Like to at least keep it in through the nose if at all possible. Get away from especially mouth-to-mouth breathing. But a lot of times we say any combination of nasal or oral is okay, but it's really best to have the nasal breath. And deep and relaxed, so quiet, but belly and lower back expanding and compressing more than the chest and the upper back. And then find an aspect of your breath, whatever works for you, an inhalation or an exhalation, to float the palms. And remember, when we say float the palms, we just mean activate the wrists so the palms are downwards. We do not mean lift the palms up. There'll be a slightly upward movement just because of the activation of the compressions at the tops of the wrists and the extensions at the bottom of the wrists. Then find an exhalation. And inhale, rotate the wrists up, palms up. Inhale, up, coming fingertip to fingertip, not crossing the center line, and an exhale, down. And an inhale up. One of the many benefits of Tai Chi Qigong is helping players better govern their breath and to breathe deeply, to connect breath and movement, to perhaps begin feeling the movement of the Qi through the body. Water Tiger School, we also talk about how it helps players, students, especially new students, garner an understanding of how maintaining sunken chest and rounded back, a looseness underneath the arms, sunken elbows, sunken shoulders. So shoulders as conduits of movement. As I lift the arms, I'm not lifting them from the shoulders. The shoulders follow as necessary as the hands and arms go higher. I haven't really been counting. I just like the feeling of this movement and its purpose. We also believe the Tai Chi Qigong pieces help with proprioception and kinesthesia from a Water Tiger School perspective. That's recognizing the the body in space, and the body in space in movement, awareness of. I'm going to do just 2 more. Many more repetitions than I think I said probably would be. But again, that idea of gathering. I'm going to pause for a moment here just for a teaching moment. At this moment, with the sunken chest and rounded back, the open arms, it almost can feel for one like they are a satellite dish for gathering fresh air and fresh energy to then pour down through the body. Two more. I lied before. Not really lied, I just changed my mind. One more. And as we come down this time, recognizing it's the last, wrists turn, fingertips forward, back to where we started. We take a moment. Now we're going to close. So a little bit more in vertical alignment, crown pointed head, base of the pelvic bowl is going to move over the ball of the right foot. That's going to happen as the hands float up, out, away from the body. The left heel releases. The hands draw in, the foot draws in, the heel's still in the air. So as you press the hands down, presses the heel down. Now I lengthen here. So I then sit down to bring the hands over the acupuncture point for the Xia Dantian, the lower field of elixir. And there you go. Little pour Qi through the Baihui from stationary family of Taiji Qigong and the primary sets of those exercises or postures. So Repulse the Monkey has many names. We usually simply say Repulse the Monkey at Water Tiger School. It's also known repulsing like a monkey, step back and repulse monkey, and we've also run into people calling it retreat. And I'm sure there are other variations there as well. So, not sure if I really want to start with our version or others, but I think we'll start with ours and then maybe draw some comparisons later on. Our Tai Chi stance, our shoulder width, is determined by where the drop of the shoulder is. It's not the outside of the delt. It's sort of the decline, but we like to define it a little bit more clearly where you feel the edge of the actual bone. That should split that heel on that side in half. Same on the other side. So the left heel is split in half by the right shoulder joint. The left heel is, and rest of the foot for that matter, is split in half by the left shoulder joint. Now, our four stance, we start in four stance simply because to us, and maybe to others too, I'm not familiar with their four stances, but we are shoulder wide, we maintain that, and our Repulse the Monkey is more or less a version of what could be called a 3/4 back stance or a 4/6 stance. So we normally do our four stance work with the left foot forward first, which for us means it's going to be a left four stance. For others, because to step into a left four stance, you have to shift the weight to the right first, would actually be a right four stance. The back foot, and notice what I did, I turned on the heel of the right foot to turn those right toes somewhere around a 45-degree angle. Right? Some people will dictate 45 degrees. We believe everybody has like different ankle flexibilities. Some people, like me, I have some metal in my left foot, and sometimes the left foot can be at a 45, sometimes it can't. Then I'm going to step the left foot forward, but notice in stepping it forward, I didn't bring it any closer side to side to the back foot. I kept it on its railroad track. We define our shoulder width always, moving forward or moving back, by the forward and back lines. Not when, for instance, in Repulse the Monkey, when I turn to this position, am I determining shoulder width by where my feet end. So our force stance is about 70-30, making sure the back of the right instep is down, the heel is down, and our back stance will actually, if we do a rocking exercise, you want to make sure when you turn back now and as we do Repulse the Monkey, that the knee stays pointed the same direction as the toes. In our basic rocking exercise, we might keep both feet flat, but we'll also talk about rocking and bringing the toes with. If for no other reason in the force stance rocking exercise, that helps train people to get those front toes pointed back to facing the front. Because knee is safe in force stance if the toes are pointed in toward the center line. Knee is not safe if I'm in force stance and my toes are pointed away from my center line. So forward, and when I rock back, in. Now when we rock back, we turn on the heel of the front foot. Why? Because if that foot stays forward, or God forbid if it's out here as we're walking backwards, that twisting pressure on that knee is no good. The backward walking, and make one of my usual jokes, which is, for us on Long Island, I always point to St. Charles orthopedists on the North Shore. They're really, really good. And if you're keeping your toes forward as you turn back the way we do at shoulder width, or if they're out, you will need their services. So Tai Chi is really great for folks who have knee issues, who are recovering from knee surgery, and done properly, it can help heal them. However, if you come to Tai Chi with healthy knees and you don't pay attention to things like foot and knee alignment, you're gonna hurt your knees. So you gotta be careful. Bringing the toes back. Other people, one, when they step back and repulse the monkey, they'll be narrow, and when they rotate back, they'll turn on the ball of their foot and kick the heel out. So they'll turn forward, step back in a very narrow fashion, and then turn on the ball of the front foot. We don't do either of those things. We keep our shoulder width, and we turn on the heel. We also transition a lot differently than most other people, and our end of posture these days is much different than a lot of people. So again, we're more or less moving backward here when we shift back. And we want to keep that pattern. So to the other side, same thing. I'm going to step the right foot forward on its railroad track. I'm going to turn on the left heel so the toes are out around the 45. We've had a lot of rain here in the last couple of days. It's been sort of cloudy. Temperature changes impacting my left ankle, and I can feel I actually made a conscious effort to put it at the 45, and my ankle is complaining. So I'm going to let it go, resettle where it wanted to. And again, the rocking back, bringing the toes with, making sure the knee and the toes of the weighted foot, the back foot, stay in the same direction and forward. And by the way, when we're forward, knee over ankle is safest, knee over the top of the foot, probably okay, depending upon the health of your knees. But once you start getting to the toes, above the toes, and especially beyond the toes, that's no good for your knee either. Back and forward, and back and forward. So our backwards walking for our Repulse the Monkey maintains those railroad tracks running, in this case, toward the camera and away from the camera. Not at the angle where we finish or come into what would be the end of stance or the end of posture position. So most remulse, is that a word? Repulse the monkeys come from like pei pa in the 24, or punch under elbow in the long form, in our version of the long form. So we'll step back to the left first. And this first step, I'm going to go ahead and turn those toes out to the 45, the right foot out to the 45. This is my right side, this is my left side. It's fun going back through the library and seeing, for a while, because one of the West Babylon students requested it, I had an X on my left shoulder, so it designated which was my left side and which was my right side. So when I step, I'm going to place the ball of the foot beyond shoulder width, So when the heel lands, it lands on my shoulder width. And then I'm going to turn those toes in. Now, a lot of other programs, as they're doing their transition from one to the other, they actually turn back to move the upper body a little bit deeper and then turn forward to take the step. Now, we finish, there's no additional turn back. We turn forward, that's going to release the heel of the front foot first. Swing the foot back, and by the time I reach facing in center line, mostly full front, if not entirely full front, the other foot should be down. And then I turn and fill that. So the turn releases the heel first, then the ball, steps the foot, and you can swing it in and out if you want, or just keep the left foot kind of over the left railroad track and the right foot over the right railroad track. Again, turning forward releases the foot and creates the step, hopefully better than I just did. And that's the room that we have. So a little casual close. So the close at the end of the little Taichi Qigong, we're going to completely fill the right foot, bring the left foot in, hands in, heel in the air, press down. We like to do that casual close at the end of a walking exercise and other things as well. It just sort of lets body, mind, and chi know, hey, I'm done with this. I'm going to turn around, do it again, different direction. Or I'm going to go do something else. Not everybody does that, but we do. So from this direction, again, just playing with the lower body first before we get into the upper body of Repulse the Monkey. I'm going to turn forward, and that's going to place that foot back. I'm not really doing anything with my hands, not even specifying one of our 5 places. If you've done any of our walking exercises with us, our floor exercises, you know those 5 places. Over the belly, like we came back to at the end of the Taichi Qigong piece. Behind the back, my favorite place when I'm playing on my own. Light, or palms down, floating. Lightly closed fists, wrists forward. Or my usual teaching position, hands on my hips. So you can see, hips are square at this point, center line is forward, foot is down, and then I turn to that 45. So toes, belly button, nose, all at the 45, turning forward. Now there can be a big tendency in walking backwards to do this Oompa Loompa thing with coming up and setting down, and coming up and setting down. And we want to avoid that. Again, our first step was to the left. I still rose on that one. I didn't mean to. And our casual close, filling all the weight in the right leg, hands in, foot in, and down. And a little rebound. And that's the backwards walking. That's the lower body for our Water Tiger School's approach to Repulse the Monkey. Now, some aspects of our upper body has stayed the same over the years. Others have changed. A lot of people in the extension, in the ready position, will have that arm out at the 45. And again, the way they get into that, I'm just going to go to like their end of posture, is they will turn farther back. And as they turn, from their end of posture, they'll twist farther back, and that hand goes out to the 90-degree angle, and then comes right straight into the ear as they step. This hand stays extended, sorry. And they might even do this palm to palm pass. And again, they'll turn farther back, step, hand to the ear, and come in. And I'm staying with my wide step, but again, many of them in that position. After the first one, it will be turn deeper, bring the foot in, step behind, turn on the ball, of the front foot and end. And it'll look something like that. We allow you to be as open as you want to be. And again, we keep our width, and our transition is a little bit different. I always remember a story that Mesmer Sifu told at Black Dragon School. He and some senior students early in the process went to, just to observe Tai Chi sword in a tournament. There's the word I was looking for. Really? It was that hard? Huh. So anyway, and they came back and they said, you know, everybody, as we know, as I talk about often in these videos, everybody does this stuff differently. But for some reason, as they went into their ready position, which was similar to, you know, our ready position, most, you know, forward and mostly back, wherever you can have a sunken chest and rounded back, they'd come up in this position and they'd do this little bounce, and then they'd go into the next end of posture, and they'd come up and they'd do this little bounce, and they'd go into this little posture. And the gang that went to the tournament decided that that was the happy hands version of Repulse the Monkey. So I've sort of gotten through a lot of their narrow stances, the turn on the ball of the foot, striking hand at a 90-degree angle. So again, they have their reasons, we have ours. Our end of posture for a number of years matched sort of the general end of posture, which is right up here. You know, and that actually helps with the name, Repulse the Monkey. It actually was a teaching point that, you know, as you step back, you're telling the monkey to stop, it grabs a hold of your wrist, you're breaking that grip and taking a step back, telling the monkey to stop, breaking the grip on the wrist, telling the monkey to stop. We also use the image because it's a very monkey-like movement, i.e., repulsing like a monkey, and using the image of a charging tiger and putting your palm on the tiger's nose and taking a step back and putting your palm on the tiger's nose, taking a step back and putting a palm on the tiger's nose. But as our Tai Chi began to evolve, focusing one on natural movement and two on a little bit more of the martial intent and what would happen if I did this to someone, what we find in our application of the basic martial application of this is this is an underhand block to a punch that's coming in from here. So if I do that underhand block, grab and pull down for somebody who is punching here, that pull down is going to take them this direction. So keep that image in mind. Where did I end up? There's the block, there's the pull, here's my body, and following the traditional position, there's my strike well above where my opponent is. So we changed and say from our Pei Pa, we do this little turn down, then turn forward. And again, our forward turn, the arms extend, the foot extends, and by the time my upper body is in place, front and back, the ball of the foot is down beyond shoulder width. And I turn, fingertips move down, and I'm striking where my opponent actually is when I pull them down to the side. We would have addressed this in our, actually ends up, we've done it twice, our little brush knee Repulse the Monkey rocking drill. We did it not too long ago. It was just September 22nd of this last year in the Tai Chi and Qigong training playlist. We discovered a glitch in our search system because the live session stuff when we uploaded it to the YouTube channel, we just uploaded the name of the particular session, you know, for instance, Water Tiger for Sachem, and the date, and not the contents of the video. So we didn't realize we'd done the brush knee Repulse the Monkey drill before, and that was all the way back in November on the 9th of 2020, and that was Water Tiger for Sachem. It should be part of the live series, but it was actually a pre-recorded video for that live series because we had technical issues with Facebook Live that day. But anyway, so our Pei-Pa, settling the 3 heels, little turn, and again, our turn forward in the 24 and the basic floor exercise, by the time we're turned forward, that has created the entire step to the ball of the foot and the arm extension. And then we move into our strike, which goes down and to the side. And as we've talked about in those rocking exercises, you have that double wrist settle, the one with the fold up. So fingertips are rising, extending the top of the wrist down, and the fingers are moving up and back, pressing the palm out, compressing the top of the wrist, and feeling that joint. And again, turning forward, begins releasing the foot, releases the foot, creates the step, and then turn into the finish, and turning forward, and turn into the finish, and turning forward. And of course, not holding like that, right? You have the bounce at the end of posture, and I can't take 2 more steps, and I want to balance the side, so I'm going to do an unexpected close there. So it should flow a little bit better than that, but in teaching moments, we tend to stop. So, but always remember those toes come with. Part of what we were talking about before, awareness of body in space and motion, proprioception and kinesthesia comes into play here because I need to know where everything is. So the 3 limbs all finish their extensions at the same time. Boom, and become the next thing. Stepping beyond shoulder width with the ball of the foot, which is why at Water Tiger School we spend so much time making a body-mind connection with our shoulder width, because that is the foundation of Water Tiger School's approach to Tai Chi. Structure isn't everything, but it is the foundation for everything. Since I have the room, you can't see my feet now, I know. I'm going to take 2 more steps this direction, closer to the camera. And a little casual close, returning. I could shift the weight forward, maybe I'll do that soon as well. And that's our basic approach to Repulse the Monkey for the 24 and for our basic floor exercise for Repulse the Monkey. Our long form version is a little bit different. And by the way, you know, to us, we'll often make references, and probably again back in those 2 brush knee Repulse the Monkey rocking videos, probably mentioned how Water Tiger refers to Repulse the Monkey as sort of backward walking brush knee, step and strike. But in our 24, the transition is not in our 24. In our long form, our approach to the basic long form, it's a little bit different. We have a rotation on the ball of the foot, on the heel of the foot. So the timing again is a little bit different. We stay open, but we have that turn on the ball of the foot, and then the step goes down, and we finish the turn in. we start moving forward to release the foot, and then we turn on the heel and step the foot. Release the foot, beginning to turn forward, and finish by rotating on the heel. A couple of things about that. It's helping with whole body governance and the ability to sort of maintain, if you will, the same pace as you're doing everything else while doing something like turning on the foot. It also makes the little pop-ups a little bit more challenging. Apparently, I'm a little challenged this morning. And another point, it helps to drive home the hidden application of our stepping always is a kick. And that kind of movement is something someone might do going into a mule kick, which is that backward stepping. Be it walking the rails backwards, be it a roll back walk, or anytime you're walking backwards, that backward step is usually a mule kick, a backward kick. So that in the upper body, you come from punch under elbow, posture whose name is relatively easy to remember because what are you doing? You gotta love Tai Chi. Repulse the monkey. What the hell does that mean? Punch under elbow. Thanks for the instruction. So punch under elbow, same sort of little roll back. And then I begin, and by the time I'm turned forward, I've turned on that heel. And then the foot floats down, and I move into the end of posture. And I begin turning forward, and then finish with the little spin, and then finish the same way I would in the 24. Begin by releasing with a slight turn forward, and then finish all from the Xi Tien. Right, this isn't lower body driven. It's not arm fling driven. It's moving from the center. That one's tough. It takes some time. Not exactly on my game for that this morning, but it wasn't a train wreck, so we're not going to reshoot it. But boom, down, turning, stepping. It doesn't have to be dramatic. By the way, I've also seen people do Repulse the Monkey in a position like that. We'll do one more pass toward you, and I think that will make it a video. Again, we have punch under elbow, little drop down, sort of compressing the spring to help with that turn around, and boom. And again, we're not out here. Stop. In the name of love. Which was another teaching point when we had the hand out there, by the way. Boom. But now we're down, actually where the target would be if you're pulling somebody down. Beginning, that was a little ugly. Movement from the Xi Tien again is one of the challenges here. People want to, use the throw of the arms to create the turn, or the leg to create the turn, so it's thigh muscle driven, but it's from the core, from the center, the Dantian. One of the things, I'll take 2 more steps here, that I really like about backwards walking in either a rollback walk or a Repulse the Monkey rock and a little casual close, is how it brings to clarity that idea of the rotation of the Xi Tien. In this case, it's really accents the horizontal turn, but we know the Dantian rotates in all directions all the time. But it's like the Japanese pellet drum, which if I were, would have made it to be a Boy Scout, maybe I would have been prepared and brought my Japanese pellet drum with me to shoot this morning. But you know that thing that they do in Karate Kid 2 where they have the Japanese pellet drum and boom, that's the center. The arms are swinging like the pellets on the Japanese pellet drum. They just swing to one side and then the other side based on that turn in the center. Some people call this, you know, this motion, and it was another teaching point, you know, in sort of basically teaching the upper body is you're sort of doing the swim, but backwards. So there you go, some variations on Repulse the Monkey, including Water Tiger School's approach, shoulder width, how we rotate the feet, how we move the arms, not at a 90-degree angle, but open, but, you know, not forcing it all the way back, because now I've lost my sunken chest and my rounded back. And not a lot of people have that kind of shoulder mobility anyway to be able to do that, sunken chest, rounded back, or not. So it's just finding that place, and it can be at the 45. If you have big shoulder impingement, you know, I can actually do Repulse the Monkey and keep both hands in the front plane, well in the front plane of the body, and still have connected movement and do the posture. So there's yet another variation on Repulse the Monkey. But we also sort of touched on how some other people do it. And again, from a Water Tiger School perspective, we're not right and they're wrong. We're right for us and they're right for them. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of the video today. As always, on our YouTube channel, we do preview all of our comments before we approve them for posting, simply because the algorithms of YouTube don't tend to catch all the spam, which usually involves, would you like to go out with somebody from somewhere else? So that's it. You know, if you have a criticism, as long as it's not a flaming criticism, fine, we'll let it go through. If it's a compliment, probably that would go through too. We also posted a link of this to this on our Facebook page, which doesn't have the preview thing. But if you flame us there, it ain't gonna stay, it ain't gonna live, and you won't get back on the page. And I guess that's it. So, again, thank you for your time and attention. Appreciate it very much. And we're so far able to maintain our every 3-week schedule. Next time will be something Qigong based, probably something again from the Animal Frolics. We still have some stuff left to do with them. Quite a bit, actually.